Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Gaston Mapala. Welcome to Analytical Geometry Summary for grade 10, 11, and 12. This is all that you need to know in analytical geometry. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and have a look at all these concepts that you need to know that are very, very critical when it comes to analytical geometry. Okay. All right, first thing first that we need to know on analytical geometry, you need to know a distance formula. You need to be able to find the distance between 2 points, which is normally given by d is equals to square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1. Just to explain a bit here, you're going to be given 2 points. You need to find the distance or the length between these 2 points. Let's say you are given B, then you are given point A there, which is x2, which is x1, and therefore we are given y1. And then also here you can say x2 and x and y2. Some will like to say xa or ya is perfectly fine as long as you know what you're doing and you know how you have marked your coordinates. Then you can say this one is xb and then this one is yb, as long as you know what you are substituting. So you would use this formula to find the distance between or the length between two given points. Okay, concept number two, what you need to know, you also need to know the midpoint. Also, what do you need to know? What is known as the midpoint. This is the middlemost point between the two given coordinates. It's symbolized by the capital letter M, is given by x2 plus x1 divided by 2, and then also you would say y2 plus y1 divided by 2. This is what is given by divided by 2. This is how you would calculate the midpoint, the middlemost point between two terms. Okay, and therefore, third thing that we need to know, you must also know what is known as the, as I try to make space here, you also need to know what is known as the gradient. This is the gradient between 2 points. Okay, the gradient between 2 points is given by m, which is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Okay, you would find the gradient, but in gradient there's also some things that you need to know. When the gradients are parallel, what happens when they are parallel? This happens when the gradient of line number 1 is exactly equal to the gradient of line number 2. This can also be shown graphically like this. This is line number 1, line number 2. If you've got these two lines and they say the lines are parallel, therefore when you work out the gradients of those two lines needs to be equal. But let's say they say the gradients are perpendicular. When the gradients are perpendicular, this means that the product of those two gradients, they must give us -1. So if you've got a gradient of one line, you can easily find the gradient of the other line. So this is given by this. Let's say this is line 1, this is line 2, and line 1. Therefore, they are perpendicular. Graphically, you would see like that these two lines are therefore perpendicular. And then the other thing that you can do also, you can use the gradient to find the angle of inclination. The angle of inclination. This is what the angle that is formed by a line with the x-axis. Okay, it is also given by m is equals to tan theta, where theta refers to the angle of inclination. Okay, there's also a couple of lines that you need to take note of if you are doing analytical geometry. Some of these lines are just to name A, you would have to know what is an altitude. You will have to know what is an altitude. B, you would have to know what is a median. Okay. And then you would also have to know what we mean when we say perpendicular bisector. Okay. You will have to know what do we mean when we say perpendicular bisector. Okay, perpendicular bisector. Please have a look at these lines, but when we upload more videos, we're going to do examples that are concerning these lines, how to identify them, how to do them, how to answer questions that are related to these ones. Okay. Okay, and for those who are in grade 12, the last thing that you need to know, this is the only thing that they add between grade 10, 11, and 12. You need to know circle. Okay, you need to know what do they mean by a circle and the equation of a circle. Okay, what do you mean by a circle? If you've got a circle that has got a center, in the origin, if you have a center in the origin, if you've got a center in the origin, therefore the general equation would be r squared is going to be equals to x minus a, where a is the center coordinate, plus y minus b squared. Okay. Okay, therefore your center, if I ask you to calculate the center is going to be given by a and b. Okay. Great stuff, great stuff, great stuff. Let's say for some reason the center is not at the origin, and then I will show you how to deal with that once we deal with the examples on analytical geometry. For now, I'm just giving you a summary and things that you are critical for you to know and understand when to use these formulas and how to apply them. See you on the next one when we do examples on analytical geometry.